We want you to keep and follow the relationship documents between your other entities. Let's say I've got a corporation set up to manage my investments. Well, and then I've got a limited partnership to hold the brokerage account. There needs to be an agreement between them. You wouldn't hire TD Ameritrade, you wouldn't hire Charles Schwab or Merrill Lynch without there being agreement. If your corporation is set up to manage your properties, there would be an agreement. If you hired somebody outside of you to manage your properties, there would be a written agreement, and it requires that you follow that agreement. If you don't like the management fee or can't afford the management fee, then change it or renegotiate it. But those documents need to be in writing. Let's say I've got my patents and trademarks and copyrights in one entity, and I'm licensing them to an operating company. That licensing agreement has to be in writing, and you have to follow that. If you're not following that, then somebody could say, hey, this is really kind of an alter ego of you, you're not playing the game. They're really not separate legal entities. Those relationship documents are as important to me as the operating agreements and bylaws themselves. Again, these are internal documents, but they're important that you keep them. You need to sign your documents, whatever it is you're doing, in a proper way. Bill Gates wouldn't walk into Microsoft and sign his name Bill Gates. It would be Bill Gates, title, whatever his title is, president, CEO, I don't know, whatever it is, and then Microsoft. It is name, title, and company. For me, I might be Don Pendleton, president of Protect Wealth Academy. But whenever you're signing a document, other than maybe a check, because the check already has that, it has that, your name or the name of the company on that. But other than it, name, title, and then company. With all the documents that you sign, that way you're not saying to the world, hey, this is me. I'm representing myself as an officer of that company. Tax returns and estimated income. If your business requires, whatever that business is, requires you to have a tax return, you need to file those tax returns. You pay your estimated income taxes on time. This shouldn't be a revelation to anyone. If you're not going to pay the taxes of the United States of America and your state, they don't offer you the asset protection because you're not playing by the rules of the game. Keep your companies, whatever companies those are, adequately capitalized to be able to pay the bills that you need. Let's say I've got a corporation and it's got $150,000 worth of debt. Well, I've got money in there, but I pull it out personally and leave the company bankrupt. Well, that would be a good argument for the plaintiff's attorney to pierce the veil and come after you personally because you inadequately capitalized your corporation. You didn't keep enough money in there to pay the bills that were due for your company. And so always keep a little slush fund, keep enough money in there to pay your bills, whatever that business might be. Some businesses require a business license. If it does, if your state or if your county or if your city requires you to have a business license for what you're doing, carry a business license and keep it properly funded. Whenever you're putting money into a corporation or a limited partnership or an LLC, there's a specific way to do that. And we can talk about that when we get to the 3-day summit. But there always has to be a business purpose. Maybe this is a capital investment by the owners. When you take money out, it might be a return of capital. Let's say I put $10,000 in to get a corporation up and going. Now that it's up and going, it's making money, I take my money back out. This is an owner's, it's not necessarily an owner's draw, it's simply a return of capital. That's not a taxable event generally when you do that. So these are simple things that you can do. And what about advertising? If you say to the IRS, I have a legitimate business and I want all the tax deductions that are available to my business, but I never set up a website. I never print a business card. I never do anything to outsource and go out and say, hey, I'm in business. Could the IRS come back and say, this is really, I'm sorry, this is kind of a scam. This is really an opportunity for you to write off things that you really shouldn't write off because it's really a hobby for you. You really don't have the intent to make a profit. And so all of these things, there's not one of them that I can think of that are going to undermine your corporate veil, your charging order protection. But we look at the preponderance of the evidence and we look at, are you playing by the game generally? Oh, you forgot your minutes last year. Okay, we'll go back and fix them. Oh my gosh, I forgot to issue stock certificates. That's not going to blow up your corporation, but if you're not doing a good majority of the things that we've talked about, you're not keeping your corporate formalities. Now, a lot of you are not really good. In fact, I'm one of the ones. I'm not real good at some of these corporate formalities. If you're not going to do them, pay somebody to do it. If you know in your heart of hearts that it's not going to happen, then pay somebody to do it. But at least if you're going to have business entities, we have to keep up the corporate formalities.